So while he's sleeping, I have been doing some doodlings over the past couple of days, and I don't know why I keep drawing frightened or angry looking or bored looking people, but this is what I've been doing, and so just want to share. I got my cheat book out today. This is a really cheap book. I recommend it for beginners because if you're learning a technique, I would rather use cheap paper than some good paper. What makes it cheap is the fact that it bleeds through, like these dots. This is because the paper is not good and it bleeds right through. So, oh, this is kind of like a art tour. So this is me when I first started doing watercolor back in 2019, when I decided to get out of my own way and start my own art. So this is it. I was testing out the brushes strokes. These brushes. I have some real professional ones, but these are much better, at least for me. The other ones, I tend to get my own way with them because I'm like, oh, I don't want to destroy them because they're like professional and they were very expensive. So I don't know what I have with portraits, but I just like drawing or painting faces. As you guys can see somewhere else in the book. This is the first time that I actually did a landscape one, and I really like this. I think I'm gonna redo this. Oh, look, you can see it. This one was like Lake Ontario, 519. So this reminds me of when I was back in high school and I took an art course from this rude, hungry-looking French woman, and she's like, "This is how you do this, and this is landscape." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, great, really." So, I mean, despite her being rude, I retained everything, and this is what I remembered from her, but the sky is from YouTube, and this is just something that I felt like I could just try with my really bad set of paint from Michael's, which is like really ashy, chalky type paint, but it looks really good to me now, years later, literally 2.5 years later. So, and then this is when I really started to feel myself with it, and I was like, yes, I can do this. And I was trying to draw someone here that I was with at the time as a friend, not romantically. He had really sharp features, so I wanted to draw him. And then in doing so, I was also thinking of Yemoja, and this is what I got from her. Yes, goddess, Orisha. This is what, you know, I was thinking of her when I painted this, and then this is what came to me. Even the colors, all of this right here was not intentional. So yeah, my God, here you go. And then, let me try to open the book even more. So then, this is when I first got my watercolor pencils, and I wanted to try something out. There was this beautiful deer that I saw, and I was like, oh my God, it's so cute. I want to try and paint it. And guess what? I got a hybrid between a chihuahua and a deer. Chihuahua. Yes, this is a chihuahua deer. And then I went back onto using the actual paint. And as I said before, this is the reason why this is perfect for this, because this book is cheap, and if you mess up or whatever, it will bleed through like it did here. I tried layering. Even here with this paint, I tried using it, testing out the paint, and that's what I got. My favorite one is this one because I used the gold paint in his eyes and they shimmer. Shimmer, shimmer, bang, bang, shimmy, shimmy, bang. Oh, I forgot the other one shimmers too. Shimmery, shimmery. And then, yeah, I don't know. I have an obsession with eyes. And mainly because I guess, like, being clairvoyant is one of the ways that I read people is through the eyes. I'm telling on myself right now. But yeah, locking eyes, they literally are the window to your souls. And then I try to draw some water, and water is a very challenging subject to try. And as you can see, the paper did not absorb the paint properly. And I don't think I used any shimmerings, no. And then I wanted to try some floral stuff, and not really so successful. But this is where I really started to learn about dimensions. And this one, I guess, has a little bit of the shimmer in the eye. And yeah, I like this bird. This was in my godmother's house. I really tried, and I painted with this one. She has, what do you call those birds that don't shut up? Birds. Zebra finches. And then I try to do what I learned in my oil painting course in college. And I didn't really retain so much of that because oil painting and watercolor, the process is watercolor is like dark and oil painting is dark to light. So trying to fuse it was challenging, but even doing the lips was like, oh no, no. New York State. I don't know, my spelling is terrible. I don't know what that was. And then I got, this is board art. This is trying to imitate technique I saw on YouTube about letting things bleed and try to get a real rustic look. Observation practice technique I wrote. And this one, Ladrina's house. Not so good. I like the fact that I even did like little notes for myself. So, brush control, okay. And this, I was on 149 Grand Street and I did a rough sketch and I thought I was really confident in myself. I was like, ooh, I think I can do it, yes. And it was just like, obviously, no, what are you doing? You can't even tell what is what. And yes, those are supposed to be stairs. That is supposed to be stairs. And this one was supposed to be like a really interesting graphic art type stuff in my head. That's how I envisioned it. And once again, I leaped before I could crawl. I'm gonna try and reattempt this. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was trying to show like depth in petals. Yes, it's supposed to be like a rose. And I kind of like a Beauty and a Beast. I mean, I don't know. And then here's like some abstract art that I did. This is such an unintentional book tour. And then this one, it was like a mini self-portrait. This was me, quote unquote, trying to participate in Inktober, but I was thinking about myself and my grandmother and a few other people, and that's where I got this. Yeah, I like big lips, so that's why I did that. And then this is also me practicing with my shimmery art. Art supplies, ink, I guess, paint. So this is gonna be the gold shimmery, and then a red shimmery. So I tried with my old style art, my old style of how I used to draw flowers, and then this is me practicing some hands. So, and then this is me overlapping colors. And then this is actually with a different set of color pencils. And not all of them are created equal. And here is where I started to really get into my groove of painting portraits and not of just humans, but also animals. So I don't like this one because it looks very human to me. It has a very human vibe. And then the reptiles, like, ooh, let me try it. And I'm really proud of myself on this one. And then this one, it was a sad reattempt at another picture that I did. But these right here, I'm really happy. I'm very happy with them. All of them I'm very proud of. This was off of the top of my head, but this I followed along with someone on Patreon. Or, no. This one I did by myself too. I just used some techniques I followed on Patreon. And this one I followed off on YouTube, and it was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And yes, this is a dog's eye. And then this one, my baby, this is a tiger's eye. And yes, I followed along with YouTube, and it was just so, I was like, ooh. When I first did it, I was like, I cannot stop looking at that tiger's eye. It looks like she's about to pounce on me. But looking at it right now, I'm in love with all of them. These two are my babies. I'm proud of them. But this one, I'm really proud of it because it really feels like this gator's eye, this reptile eye is really watching me. Maybe because I have reptiles at home. I don't know. And then I was training myself to do noses and practicing shadings and learn different types of ethnic noses as well as animals' noses. And it became really challenging. So this is an indigenous and or African American nose. And then this is a Caucasian nose or Hispanic nose. And this one, definitely a Caucasian nose because most of them have the hunch and or the split thing. I don't know. And then the cat's nose. And then I was like, all right, I'm bored with this. Let me try making eyes again. And then this is the real one. And the other one was a reattempt at this one. And what makes me most proud of this is how I did the eyes, how I truly blended the yellow and then the brown to make it look gold, and how I was able to make the white go in and then the shadows of the black to give it depth. And then I played with that. I was like, oh, someone's getting good. And then this one's also my favorite too because of the reference photo. I never thought about putting veins. And I was really proud of myself for attempting that. I really did. So this one was done in Staten Island, October 7th. I don't think that year is correct. Oh, that's 2019. That's a 9. It's a 9. See, a little squiggly is 9. And this was supposed to be a really bad attempt at a spider. I'm not beating myself up for that, but I tried. I really tried. And then, once again, practicing shading and coloring. And then I was like, ooh, let me try something else that's also a portrait. And this is what I got. And then, we did this. I tried doing my ring, was not happy. But then I tried this, and I was like, ooh. I love what I see in my head. So if you do watercolor painting, you can clearly see that. We use darker colors underneath first to create shadows, and then we paint on top. So this was pretty interesting when I did it. I really loved it, but I was really taken back by how cheap the paper was once again, because not everything was done at the same time. And I was just upset because I felt like this was a really good thing, a really good piece that I did. I was really happy with how I did it too. Like the proportions are very accurate. I didn't overdo one side more than the other, and I was so proud of myself. And then I got upset because of how cheap the freaking paper is. But now I have really good paper. And so I tried doing a different angle, like a person looking up or you looking up at a person. And I really suck at bodies, as you can see. And then humanoid animal faces creep me out, so I stopped with this. I don't like it. It's like a crossbreed between a baboon's eyebrow and obviously a cat's face with human eyes. And I'm just like, I can't. And so I have these other markers, like they're literal watercolor markers. And this is me doing the first practice run. As you can see how the strokes of the ink is marker-esque. And then I was like, ooh, let me try drawing some sexy women, because you know, everybody likes nudity in their art. And her titties are great, but her proportions are all off. And at least I tried with the shadows. And I was really proud with how I made this look really, really good. And I should have put some veins. And then here is where I feel like I messed up. It doesn't go, and I really tried. I really tried. But I'm happy with it, but I'm not happy with it. And then this goes to the last picture that I did today. So, And this concludes of my art tour, my unintentional art tour.